In today's story, we have yet another set of questionable advice from one of Job's friends. And same as before, there's some really amazing things in this story about what it's like to trust God and what it's like to not trust God and trust in other things. And there's some other things that's like, well, this friend doesn't really have the whole story. And so he kind of has some things wrong. And also, would you want to say these things to your friend who is suffering? Maybe not. So Bildad hears all of these things that Job has been saying, and he's like, Job, you are a blustering wind. Now, is that something you should tell your friend who's in pain? I don't really know. Maybe it's good for him. And Bildad says, does God pervert justice? No, he does the right thing all the time. You see, you lost your children, and yes, that's terrible, but you see, the reason you lost your children is because they sinned against God, and God brought judgment on them. And if you even now repented of your sins, God would hear you, and he would turn his face towards you in mercy and compassion, and you would see, even though you were a really rich person before you lost everything, but if you turned to God and followed him, you would find that those rich beginnings that you thought you were rich, actually it was just like the very poorest, most humble state of life that you could ever live, because the prosperity that God is going to give you is going to be so extra abundantly enormous. But be a wise man, Job. Ask the people who've gone before you, the older and wiser people than you. Us, your friends. We're here, we're old and wise, we have lots of things to tell you and wisdom to impart to you. Ask us and see, and we will tell you the truth. You see, can a reed grow where there's no water? No, they can't. Because if there's no water and they're trying to grow, even while they're still trying to grow and doing their best possible job to grow, they're just going to wither up and die in the hot sunshine. And that's what it's like when people don't love God. When people are leaning on something and trusting in something other than God, it's like they're putting their hope in something that's as fragile as a spider's web. And it just withers away, and then they wither away because they have nothing to trust in or cling to. He's like somebody who's a well-watered plant. You were well-watered when you were in the Lord and seeking him and following him, but then you're like put in this desert and you're trying to get your roots to hold on to something, and you're like digging your roots out around the rocks and stuff. But then once you're pulled up from that spot, the rocks go back and they're like, no, we can't help you. We're not here for you. We're not going to support you in any way. That's what it's like when you cling to things that are not God. And then the guy just withers away because he doesn't have anything to support him or give him more life. And God does not reject somebody who's blameless. No way. If you truly are blameless, God is going to come to your aid, and he is going to give you so much life and prosperity and shouts of joy in your tents. All of your enemies are going to be put to shame, and their tents are going to be totally destroyed and no more.